Can I ask you something? Why is it that the hardest conversations in your life never happen out loud? Why do you sometimes open your phone, unlock it, scroll for a few minutes, lock it again, and somehow feel worse than before? Have you ever typed a message, read it 3 times, and deleted it? Not because you had nothing to say, but because you thought, maybe they don't really want to hear from me. Why does your mind do that? Why does it convince you that staying silent is somehow safer? Here's the strange part. Millions of people experience this every day, yet most of them never realize what's actually happening inside their brain. Because this isn't simply sadness, it isn't weakness, and it definitely isn't something only introverts experience. It's one of the oldest survival systems evolution ever created. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your own thoughts the same way again. That invisible force is called loneliness. Not being alone, not having no friends, loneliness. And psychology has discovered that it changes far more than your emotions. It changes the way you see the world. Let me ask you another question. Have you ever spent an entire day alone and actually enjoyed it? Now compare that to another memory. Have you ever laughed in a group, yet secretly felt invisible? If yes, then you've already experienced the difference. Being alone is a physical state. Loneliness is a psychological one. Psychologists define loneliness as the gap between the relationships you have and the relationships you want. It's possible to have hundreds of followers, dozens of friends, even a loving family, and still feel completely disconnected because your brain doesn't count people. It measures connection, and connection cannot be faked. Imagine living 100,000 years ago. Night falls, you wake up, your tribe is gone. Would you stay calm? Probably not, because being alone back then often meant death. No protection, no food, no fire. Evolution solved this problem by creating emotional pain. Hunger makes you search for food. Thirst makes you search for water. Loneliness makes you search for people. Neuroscientist Dr. John Cacioppo, often called the father of loneliness research, discovered that loneliness changes how the brain interprets social situations. The lonely brain becomes hyper-alert. A delayed text feels like rejection. A short reply feels cold. Someone canceling plans suddenly feels personal. The brain starts seeing danger, even when there isn't any. Not because it's broken, because it's trying to protect you. Here's something most people never notice. Loneliness rarely begins with being alone. It often starts with small moments. Moving to a new city, starting a new school or job, a breakup, losing someone you love, working from home for months, spending hours scrolling social media without meaningful conversations, comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel, pretending to be someone you're not just to fit in, ignoring messages because you're afraid of saying the wrong thing. Even constantly being busy can slowly disconnect you from the people who matter most. And here's a surprising fact. Researchers found that social rejection activates many of the same brain regions involved in physical pain. Your brain literally reacts as though you've been injured. That's why being ignored can hurt so deeply. The research becomes even more surprising. Psychologist Dr. Julianne Holt-Lundstad analyzed data from more than 3.4 million people. Her findings showed that chronic loneliness is linked to a significantly higher risk of early death and poorer physical health. Another theory comes from psychologists Roy Baumeister and Mark Leary. They proposed the belongingness hypothesis. Their conclusion was simple. Humans don't just enjoy belonging, we require it, just as we require sleep, food, and safety. Without meaningful connection, our mental and physical health begin to suffer. So, how do you escape something your own brain creates? First, stop waiting to feel ready. Loneliness often tells you to withdraw. Healing usually begins by doing the opposite. Send the message, make the call, accept the invitation. Second, replace quantity with quality. One genuine conversation is more powerful than 100 meaningless interactions. Third, challenge the stories your brain tells you. Ask yourself, did they actually reject me, or did I assume they would? And finally, build a life that isn't dependent on constant validation. Exercise, learn, create, volunteer, read. Purpose doesn't eliminate loneliness, but it makes your life bigger than it. Before you leave, I want you to answer one final question. Who was the first person you thought about while watching this video? Don't tell me. Tell yourself. Maybe you should message them today. Or maybe the person you've been avoiding isn't someone else. It's you. Loneliness isn't proof that nobody cares. It's proof that your brain is reminding you that meaningful connection matters. If this video helped you understand yourself in a way school never taught you, subscribe to Psy Theory. Every week, we explore the hidden psychology behind the emotions, behaviors, and decisions that quietly shape your life. And there's one more piece to this puzzle. Many people don't just feel lonely. They try to escape that loneliness by endlessly scrolling, binge-watching, or chasing quick bursts of pleasure. For a few minutes, it feels better. Then, the emptiness returns. Why? Because loneliness is often the emotion, and dopamine is the escape. In the next video, The Dopamine Trap, we'll explore why your brain keeps chasing rewards that never truly satisfy, and how that cycle quietly controls your life.